Daniel Dissinger. I'm the editor of In Stereo Press, and I'm here with our first guest with On the Roof with In Stereo, Travis Cebula. A little bit about Travis. Travis graduated from the MFA program at Nairobi University in the Jack Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics. He's the author of 6 chapbooks, most recently But for a Brief Interlude at Versailles, and he has a full-length collection of poetry called Under the Sky, They Lit Cities by Blazevox. Travis,
Dan,
nice to see you again.
Good to see you too.
We're also extremely great friends.
Yeah.
Oh, and also he was awarded the Pavel Stroop Fellowship for Poetry by Western Michigan University. You got to put that one in there.
Yeah.
Can't forget that.
Right on.
All right, so my first question would be, Travis, from your first collection of Some Exits,
Yeah.
and to your most recent, I guess, full-length or most recent chapbook,
Yeah.
how would you feel your work has grown?
Oh, geez. I think my feel for language and just sort of instinctive feel for how words can come together and play with each other is a little bit more refined, and I kind of feel like I had to work a bit harder back then, and now there's a bit, it's not that I don't work now, but that at the time, it was more of a struggle to get things down on paper, and after having some time to work with it, several years have passed now, that the language flows more easily, and there's some confidence and some freedom to, work within a voice now.
That's good, yeah. That whole idea of the confidence and the freedom of working with voice is really something you definitely have to work at. And it kind of goes into my next question would be, and I found this video recently about the Occupy Wall Street protests, and the person on the video said that we need poets to occupy the word.
Okay.
And I was wondering what you thought about that and how you think about how you might occupy the word in your own work.
Yeah. I would say, for me, occupying the word would be a very literal sort of thing, not necessarily as political, but just, I think that poets should be very much present and authentic and, it sounds kind of trite, but mean what they say. And you should be in there, and if you're writing about something, you should occupy it in some way. It should be something that you know and understand and care about.
Well, that idea,
so just be present for it.
That idea of authenticity, what do you think makes a voice authentic?
It's really hard to say something might make it authentic. I think it either is or it isn't. I don't know. I suppose it's possible if you are really good at it to, fake authenticity somehow. And, as weird as that sounds, but you can work at it and somehow BS your way well enough that it seems authentic. But yeah, I just you either mean it or you don't, and there's kind of it's what poetry is anyway. There's a lot ineffable about it. It's between the lines and how things are said, and it's hard to pick specifically. This word here is what makes a poem authentic. But some things you can see are just absolutely instantly authentic, and other ones are obviously affected.
Right.
So
good. Yeah. Well, my last question before we get to hearing some of Travis's great poetry is, what do you want readers to experience from your work as they read it?
Oh, it's interesting because people ask me that fairly often, my wife in particular. It's like, what am I supposed to get out of this? And I don't know if it's true of all poets, but I'm really open-minded. If somebody has a response at all that seems genuine and heartfelt, I'm usually fairly okay with whatever the response is. But I would like people to have some kind of reaction. Enjoy it, hate it, get an image out of it, get an underlying message of some sort if there's one in there. But I try to structure my poems with layers of, appreciation or, gifts to the reader, if you will. everything from, you know, fairly straightforward concrete imagery to layered play with language and sound to, you know, maybe a deeper political thing to maybe some personal things, etc. So build up those kind of tiers so that maybe everybody can get at least a little something out of it. You know, there might be a piece of a narrative or a picture or, you know, so, and any of, you know, as long as somebody gets something.
Yeah.
But I believe in what Barbara Guest said about, you know, trying to make texts open so that the reader can come to the text and put some of themselves into it. Leave that open. So this is going to be just a couple of, if I can find it in my pocket, a couple of short pieces here from a manuscript that right now is just called Ithaca. And the description I would give of the manuscript and kind of how it came about is if you took the Borges short story, The Circular Ruins, where the man goes to bed every night and dreams about a son until the son gets created, well, it's sort of like dreaming about a daughter through language and poetry, and the spine of the daughter linguistically is language from James Joyce's Ulysses. So that's where the Ithaca kind of comes out of it. But it's a daughter or a country or politics or whatever you want to see into it. But here we go. Of the visible, at least, Ithaca gave no more thought. Signatures of dreaming here. Sea spawn and sea rack, the nearing tide. That limit of bodies. She was aware of them knocking against them. The bald maestro in vestment blue put 5 crumpled fingers through a gate. Shut it. I am, a stride at a time, exactly the audible. Open. Fell over through the dark, 2 feet in his boots, the ends of his legs solid, walking into wild sea stories. All vanished in sand. If I open, see me give back menace and snorted Latin. In that invincible kneeling, 2 bells would never make a saint. How poets wrote the similar sounds, but then the flow of language was solemn. Newsboards told of dreadful catastrophe, America continually happening. How unfortunate people died like an act of perfect contrition against the window of establishment. Silent figures chewed a blade of white, and black and red lay neatly curled under the trees. A bargeman with a hat of dirty straw stared at a branch of poplar above him. Said it was the Creator who bogged men. And poor Francis stepped onto an outward bound tram, sat in a corner. Blue tucked with care in the eye of one plump child. The ivy church reflected. The inspector usually made one carelessly thrown away solemnity, a punched ticket, excessive for a journey so short and cheap. In that, it was a peaceful opposite, a tiny yawn. The child was sick with nation. Consuls all over the world sold Peter to pay God. God saved the argle-bargle and his old fellow before him, the bagman, that poisoned this country with baubles. Any amount of money advanced no security. The king's castle did country at a peasant's expense. At the tender mercy of all desertion was Judas, who up to then had nothing whatsoever of kindred. Burning like one lagging footstep, his own story stopped to look at the heap of barren. From the brazier he could just make out the darker figure of the watchman. Among those quivering trees he began to remember small effort, recognized in a friend before the pillars of the least. Those poor winter birds halted again, then broke into brittle fragments. The gulls swooped 2, then all from their heights. Every morsel of their greed and cunning shook powdery crumb from his hands. They never expected that manna.
Thank you so much, Travis, for coming.
Thank you, Dan.
Being the
great to be here.
first on this rocky experience
Yeah,
on the roof with In Stereo, but we're hoping to make this a regular event, and I'm just glad
I
to have
hope it does
Travis
become regular. This is
here.
a very great spot. Come out to Astoria and read poetry.
Yes, and you can see Travis this week at the Barry Poetry Club, reading with Sarah Souser, whose book is coming out, The Principal Agent, and November 10th at the Barry Poetry Club,
Yep,
right?
Thursday night at 6 p.m.
Okay, so be there, all right, for some great poetry. Thanks
Dan.
again.
It's great to see you.
Yes.